Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Himoff, the Executive Director of Action Utah, and I wanted to talk to you a bit about conventions and primaries and what's happening with the 2020 elections. First of all, you should know that 2020 elections are partisan elections. We're looking to elect officers for county, state, and federal offices, as well as school board, to retain judges, and also in 2020 to elect a president of the United States. The 2020 elections consist of three parts. The first part was the presidential primary on Super Tuesday. The second part is the June 30th primary election. And the third part is the November 3rd general election. Now, the presidential primary is over, so we're going to focus on the June 30 primary election. Now, there's two routes to the primary ballot. The first route is the convention route, which is the traditional route. This is the route where candidates go up in a convention in front of delegates who have been elected in each neighborhood precinct to represent the members of the party in that area. And through several rounds of voting, those delegates vote on candidates and narrow the field either to two candidates who receive the most votes or to just a single candidate if one candidate receives 60% or more of the votes. Those conventions are happening right now, with the county conventions already underway and complete in many areas, and the state conventions coming up on April 25th. Now, COVID-19 has caused some changes to these conventions. First of all, it's made it very difficult for delegates to reach out and meet the candidates in person like they normally would. And so there have been virtual forums and videos to take the place of that for delegates to get to know the candidates. The second is that the conventions themselves will be taking place and have been taking place virtually. So voting is taking place through apps with a ranked choice voting method in order to narrow the field down of these candidates in the convention path. The second path is the signature path. That's the path where a candidate can get on the primary whether or not they're voted on in convention by receiving enough signatures through petitions from qualified voters. And the deadline for that already passed. Those signatures were due 2 weeks before the party convention. So the signature path is now done. The convention path is underway with many portions of it done, and the state convention still coming up on April 25th for both the Democratic and Republican parties. Now, here's what Utah voters need to know about the June 30th primary election, because that is the next time that voters will have the opportunity to weigh in on this process. Some primaries are closed and some are open. The Republican primary is closed, meaning only voters who are affiliated in the Republican Party may vote in that primary. Unaffiliated voters and Democrats alike may vote in the Democratic primary elections. Now, COVID-19 has also created some changes to the June 30th primary election. Some of the biggest ones are that there will be no early voting. There will be no same-day voter registration and no provisional ballots the day of the elections. That means you need to plan ahead for registering and for voting. Now, the state will be conducting the election for primaries primarily by mail. If you have not already requested a mail-in ballot, be sure to do so now, in plenty of time for the election. Now, there may also be some drive-up voting location options, but those will be selected by certain counties who opt into that method. The best thing to do is not rely on that option, but to plan ahead for mail-in voting. Now, mail-in voting means you receive a ballot in the mail, you fill it out at your leisure, but you must return that ballot either at a Dropbox location, which you can find at vote.utah.gov, or you can postmark your mail-in ballot by mailing it through the mail and have it postmarked by the day of the election, June 30th. Now let's talk voter registration for a moment. If you are not registered to vote, or if you have not updated your voter registration, or if you want to change party affiliation, you cannot do so in person at the moment. So you need to make those changes, those updates, or that voter registration online. You can also register to vote by text. These options are open to you up through June 19th. That is the voter registration deadline for the primary election on June 30th. However, if you want to change your party affiliation, you must do so at least 30 days in advance of the primary election. To find out more information about elections, please go to actionutah.org. We encourage you to make a commitment to vote in the 2020 elections by signing our voter pledge. Please make use of our voter hand guide and our 2020 election guides. Thanks so much for watching.